to talk with Hamlet, not readiness is all, I quote from Hamlet where Hamlet says, readiness is all, heiter sein ist alles. And the word heiter is a complicated, I'm not too fond of the German language, but the word heiter is a very beautiful word. I appreciate it. Heiter you find among children, sometimes among adults, but more among children, when they look into the world with pleasure, without being passionate, without being too restless. It is just a way of looking into the world with happy, joyous eyes. If a person is heiter, is not passionate, he is rather free of conflicts. When the weather is nice, he looks ahead and is happy about it. When it rains, he will say, well, I can stay at home and read a nice novel. He will not be pessimistic. And one of the problems is, and I think it's a far-reaching, why did Freud replace readiness, Shakespeare's readiness, by Heiterkeit? And here I want to read to you the passage from Hamlet. Where is it? I hope I will find it. Yeah. It is towards the end of the tragedy, and here, if you permit me, I would like to tell you what, in my opinion, the meaning, one of the meanings of the great play is. If Hamlet had, under the command of his father, rushed away and killed Claudius, he would have acted, as I call it, like a schoolboy, being just obedient. It was a matter for him to grow up, to integrate the task, and to, if necessary, carry it out under quite different conditions, namely as a mature person, not just as the messenger of his father. And in that scene, Osric invites Hamlet to a duel in which Hamlet will be killed, and Osric, as so often, the comical figure towards the end of the play, is a symbol of death, conveys the message of the king, the invitation for the duel, and Horatio has foreboding it will not end well, and he tells Hamlet, I will go immediately to the king and will cancel it. And Hamlet interferes with that and says, not a whit, we defy augury. There is special providence in the fall of a sparrow. If it be now, it's not to come. If it be not to come, it will be now. If it be not now, yet it will come. The readiness is all. I think this sentence is a beautiful sentence. There's a certain mystique in it, but it is an affirmation of time and at the same time a dissolution of time. The sentences, in my opinion, are really contradictory, but in the contradiction, Shakespeare, I think, succeeded in giving a very strong expression of time. I shouldn't be Shakespeare because Dr. Garcia, whom we owe so much, is sure that Shakespeare did not write the tragedies, but somebody else. So I say Shakespeare, although I guess it's somebody else. Granted. Now, I was puzzled from where does this word heiter come in. And fortunately, I read an article by the son of Knopfmacher, who was a close friend of Freud, and he, son of Knopfmacher, reported what his father told him about Freud, and one communication was that Freud felt like the hero in a poem by Schiller, the veiled image of Sais in ancient Egypt. Now I must tell you the content of the poem. an epical poem. There was a young man who was very eager to learn deep wisdom, and so he went to Zeiss, where there was a renowned school, and he was a very good student, and he advanced, was greatly praised. He was dissatisfied that the knowledge they give him is a piecemeal knowledge, but truth must be something comprehensive, something all-embracing. And when he walks with the priest, he sees in the yard a huge, giant statue, veil. But he asks what it is, and the priest tells him, it's truth. Behind that veil is truth. And the man says, so why don't we look at it? And he says, no, the goddess says that who does it will be punished, they would make himself guilty. The goddess herself will lift the veil when it is time. As you can imagine, the student is puzzled and driven to know the truth, and at night he sneaks into the courtyard, lifts the veil, and the next morning they find him lying on the floor, confused, prostrate, unhappy, and he says one should never do something against the will of the goddess, and from then on he had lost his Heiterkeit. And I have the impression that Freud thought of that ballad when he said that Heitersein ist alles. This man saw the Egyptian man saw the truth, and it was so terrible that he couldn't enjoy life anymore. And Freud was in danger of reaching the same point. I think the similarity between the man in the ballad, in the poem, and Freud is very great. Also, he came to a city and had good teachers, and was introduced into the wisdom of his time. And then the moment came where he tried it out himself, and he lifted the veil of the goddess to find out the truth, and the goddess was very nice to him. He observed very much and developed a theory, a comprehensive theory, just what a man in the poem was missing, that it's only partial knowledge he gets from them and not the comprehensive knowledge, and the goddess led him the right way, and he found the seduction theory. But that was a deception. The goddess deceived him, made him believe that that is the truth, and in reality it is not the truth. It was a deception. And in this moment, of course, Freud was in danger of falling into a depression and giving up further research, and therefore he said he must be Heiter. The readiness of Hamlet would have meant that you look around, that you seek, and that you are ready to pick up what fate gives you. Freud had renounced to that and withdrawn from seeking truth, but did not want to lose his joyous outlook on life. And indeed he was in a terrible situation and had no reason to expect success, because first when he came from Paris he advocated hypnosis, and then hypnosis did not prove what it promised, and he advocated cocaine, and he got into terrible trouble. And then he